Okay. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, welcome. And YouTube, later on, you join us and watch this video. Just know that this is a radio show. We have 4 segments. We do have to take breaks. I'm sorry for the interruptions, but we have to comply with the radio station and what they ask, which is an intro and an outro and all the things that go with radio. But because we want to share the on and off the air conversation, we record it. We don't edit it unless there's somebody out there that would like to volunteer their time. You're welcome to do that. But for now, it is what it is. And I hope that you'll be able to tolerate the interruptions, tolerate whatever it is, because it is a free program that offers a new perspective, a new truth. And so today we're talking with Jillian Sommerfeld, and she is, I love this, a positive life activist. And I love that. And,
Thank
and
you.
she's also a millennial. We got to bring some young blood here. And so today we're going to fasten our seatbelts because we're going to learn and grow together. And we're going to get muted like in a second, but start dancing. It's time to dance. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning in and listening to the Lillian McDermott radio show since 2011, or maybe you just started listening yesterday for the first time, just know I am very grateful for you. Welcome back. But if this is the first time that you've tuned into the show, just know that I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. And it is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal. And it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and my viewing friends on Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life that you have always wanted to live. Now, for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, please feel free to make comments, send some love. But if you're listening on the radio, then just know we're waiting for you. You're welcome to join us when we do our recording, but you can still, anything that we talk about today, whether we're giving away anything or it also is for you as well. So if you need to start calling or if you want to text later on when the show airs on the radio, you're welcome to call 407-373-5959. For those of you who are watching on YouTube and you're watching on Facebook Live, you can also message me if there's something that we're going to give away today. And I've got a hint. Yes, I am giving something away today. So stay tuned because when the time is right, I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so millennials. Shall we talk about millennials? They have been called the entitled generation. But have they received a bum rap? Millennial and positive life activist Jillian Sommerfeld knows how modern day is full of distractions, and in an effort to achieve her own steadiness and calmness in her own life, it has led her to a clear journey, a clarity and a nutrient-rich life, nutrient-rich life, healing, and growth. And Jillian's going to share how we can achieve this clarity regardless of our age. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Jillian Sommerfeld is here to do just that. Welcome to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, Jillian.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time and allowing me to share my journey and what I've been through. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. You've been a pretty busy young lady, and we have a lot in common. We have DHA Labs in common, and we have Mario Fabri in common. And so that's how we kind of met one another. But share a little bit about your life and what led you to this, I guess, enlightenment.
Well, it started probably it started when I was 26 years old. I woke up one day and took a look around my life and realized that nothing that I was doing really reflected what made me happy and what I wanted to do. So I started digging deeper into my soul purpose. I started taking time to truly understand what it was in this lifetime that made me happy. And by doing that, I had to face a lot of different situations that I didn't necessarily understand. And I didn't really take the time to face and to understand, I guess you could say. So it was, in a way, sitting in your demons, facing your demons, taking time to understand them so then you could grow from them. And I did that mostly through food and nutrient-dense foods. So yes, we have in common DHA Labs. That is actually my family. And I was living this life that was kind of like outside of that. So it was, in my terms, I call it toxic. Now I can say it. I was living a very toxic life. And I didn't necessarily realize that everything that I needed to get out of that toxic life was right in front of my face, which was understanding that, we're all individuals, understanding that what goes on inside of our bodies ultimately reflects what goes on outside of our bodies. And I started really taking the time to dig deeper into that, utilizing food sensitivity kits, figuring out if I had a gluten, dairy, or candida, figuring out how the foods I was putting into my system could be affecting my moods. I started taking a look at my friend group, looking at them and being like, are we getting higher, or what's going on? So yeah, I just did a full overview of my life and started making a change.
And you started making that change when most people are not even aware of what's going on in their life, and they're just going along, chugging along until they hit 50. So you're ahead of the game, young lady. So
thank you.
Thank you. 50. I think that's the magical number, at least for me. And so that's what the show is about today. We're going to talk about life, the millennial. That's it. That's it. How wonderful is that? And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at I'll be right here waiting for you.
Right here waiting for you.
Okay. So for those of you who are watching today, I'm not going to say this while I'm on the air, although I kind of flashed it and kind of like tease. I want people to come join us on Facebook Live. What can I say? Is it manipulation? What do you think, Jillian? Is that manipulation? Maybe. Okay.
No, it's you sharing a gift, actually.
I'm sharing a gift. And how I share a gift is up to me, right?
Exactly.
I was given this by Smart and Safe. Smart and Safe makes radiation-free air tube headsets. And that is what I wear when I do the show. For those of you who wonder what I use these headsets that do not promote radiation into my brain. And so I would say be the 10th message. If you are the 10th message and you live in the United States, if you live outside of the United States, I'll ask them if they'll send you one. So if you win, if not, then I don't know. I'll check and see how much it is. I'm just such a pushover. Okay. So for those of you, it's called, look at that. So they're ear tubes, and it hooks up to all your phones, your headsets. It's a headset. It really is. And so be the 10th message that I get on Facebook Messengers, then you will win this prize. Okay, so Jillian, you talk about individuality. You know, everybody wants to be an individual. They want to kind of reject themselves or from their parents. They want to assert their independence, which is counterintuitive because we are a group of people that belong together.
Mm-hmm.
But we spend a lot of time in our youth trying to be unique. But in trying to be unique, we become like everybody else. Did you notice that that's why you weren't happy?
Yeah, in a sense, I kind of was existing in a situation where my individuality wasn't necessarily understood. That was what it was, because I was existing within, something that a lifestyle that I didn't feel was fit who I was.
Okay. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Okay. So that means that they're about to mute our mics and it's time to dance once again. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Jillian on the comment section. Here we go.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show / classroom, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher, and I'm just going to call her a millennial because she is a millennial, but she is unlike every millennial. Do you feel that millennials have been given a bum rap, or have they deserved this entitlement generation title?
I think they've been given a bum rap.
Okay.
I do have to say that. I think that the majority of millennials are creators, and majority of them have identified issues that we've kind of become symptoms of, and we're trying to pave a new way, and we're trying to create a new way of living, just because of how much information we're being told daily, like with the plastic and the environment and the meat industry and the pharmaceuticals. Like, we're constantly being told these things. And I believe that us as millennials, we feel obligated to create new things that are going to pave the way for a better future. And I know that this has been, it's a cycle. It's a common cycle. There's always like the hippies and the this and the that.
Yeah.
But I feel like millennials, we really are.
Oh, did we lose you?
Cultivate different types of communities that really cultivate different type of communities that really are going to make a change. And I think it's just we're finding our way because it's new, and it's to go back to being misunderstood in a sense. We're misunderstood because we're trying new things, and it's bridging the gap between that block. It's bridging the gap between it doesn't make you wrong, it doesn't make us wrong. It just means we're doing something different. We're trying something new.
So what I'm hearing you say, Jillian, is that every generation has their quote unquote hippies. So anyone who sets themselves apart, we shame them into individuality, or we shame them because they are trying to be an individual. But are they really trying to be an individual? Because if it were one hippie, but it's a group of hippies, right? Or one millennial, then that would be individual. But there is a grouping. There is a tribe that they attract. So they're really, it's like a difference of opinion or whatever. So I want to do, and I can relate to what you're saying, because I was different in my family. I was totally different in my family, and I continue to be different in my family. But that's okay. I love my family. It doesn't make me better, but it doesn't make me worse either. And it's that shaming because I may not fit in to the vision of what it should be like to be in my family. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or, or maybe as an adult, I changed a lot of that. You're talking about the environment, you're talking about plastics, and we're aware of electromagnetic frequencies. So what I'm hearing you say is that your generation wants to change those things.
Yeah, 100%. And we all want to be respected as individuals. So to go back to that, it's acceptance. It's allowing people to bring their own mindset and their own passion and their own abilities and their own way of seeing things to the forefront, because everybody has their own opinions on certain situations. And if we're actually able to accept the individual for who they am and see the light in them and see the positivity that they're trying to promote within life and almost encourage that, I believe that that's how you create an amazing community. And also that's how you create movement and change. And that's what I've at least observed in my line of work and working with a lot of different startup companies of millennials, where everybody has their why and everybody has their passion and their purpose and what they want to do with it. And it does make abundance, meaning money, prosperity. It's just different, it just looks different. So, I think it's more so the millennials we're trying to support the individual, make it more of an equal mindset and be more accepting towards people that have that live almost quote unquote unconventionally, I guess you could say, because it's a lot of out of the box thinking.
It is. It's okay. So let's, and I'm just being curious here. I'm being curious because, all of us want to make a difference. So I think most people, and people don't wake up and say, I don't think I want to make a difference today. We all, I think, genuinely want to be noticed. We genuinely want to make a difference. And we want to make a difference in somebody else's life. But like I used to say to my children, independence is expensive. It has a price. But then there are some, oh my gosh, millennials that are just like, they're going to go beyond the riches that perhaps maybe their parents had ever seen. But some, not many, but some have been handed that and to make it grow more. And others just don't know. Like when you woke up at 26 and you said, I don't like this. Some people don't wake up from 26 and say, I don't like this. They just get depressed and start taking medication, and then they start spiraling downward. Have you seen that as well?
100%. 100%. And that's kind of the reason why I was so vocal with all of this. I mean, there's always this interesting relationship with social media. I know I have an interesting relationship with it too, because it does take you outside of reality in a sense. It's quote unquote creating a false reality. People can become whoever they want to, which in a way it's like, you can be whatever you want to be in this lifetime. As long as you're happy and you're doing intentional work, go for it. But what's happening is people are creating completely different identities and they're living in two separate identities. For me, what I chose to do was be vocal with what I was going through from an authentic standpoint through and through, from the moment I decided I didn't want to live the life I was living. And I did it alongside my Instagram followers in hopes of inspiring people to also live an authentic life and to steer away from the stigma of if you're unhappy, it means you're depressed. Not saying there aren't people out there that do suffer from depression, but there are so many alternative options that you can do that get you out of that without making toxic choices.
Very good. Very good. So let's talk about these choices that you make. And I do want to go back to that moment though, when you woke up at 26. Do you recognize that person today?
Yeah. And I know why she was doing it. And I know why she was making the choices she was making. And it was because the lack of feeling worthy, you don't. And a lot of people battle with this because you're existing in a world that doesn't support who you are. Therefore, you feel misunderstood and you feel as if you are not worthy enough to exist in that world because you're not connecting with the people that are surrounding you.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you start learning who you are as a person, and you start understanding what makes you happy. And then you're able to align up with the people that align up with who you are. And it doesn't make those people bad. It doesn't make, it doesn't mean anything. It just is a switch. You just kind of go through a switch, and you love the people from afar, and you appreciate them for who they are and the gifts that they do bring.
Yeah.
It just doesn't necessarily work for you. So you kind of transform it. And I did mine publicly.
Well, but if you tie it, and hey, listen, when you are in the public, it's like it gives permission to people, gives their opinion, whether it's solicited or unsolicited, and that balance, because even as an adult or maybe a young adult, it doesn't matter. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. We want to, when I say in my intro to introduce my guests, it's our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. But what do we do? How do we deal with when we don't get what we think we should have? And that's where the entitlement comes in. You see we, especially your generation, not maybe our generation is when we started really kind of like disposables. There's disposable everything. When I was a kid, I probably had cloth diapers, but my kids never saw cloth diapers. But I'm seeing some millennials go back to cloth diapers. I'm seeing this beautiful cycle that we may be going back to how it used to be, because we've lost that connection with self and others.
Yes.
So I see you nodding your head. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, 100%. It's falling in love with the process. That's what it is. You have to fall in love with the process of being okay that things are going to change, and going back to the simplest form is probably the best thing that you can do. So going back to the things that are the most natural, like disposable things. What is so difficult about washing the diaper? What is so difficult about, using a fresh press instead of a coffee maker?
Or boiling water, or just boiling water.
Exactly. That's the whole, and there's actually beauty within that. Like in the morning,
Yes.
my routine, I wake up, I make a French press. I've done that for years. That's where I set my intentions for the day. That's where I kind of like take time for myself, because we do live in a very fast-paced world, and it's getting faster. And if you don't make the choice, like the actual substantial choice for yourself to give yourself that time, you will get lost. And that's why, and I think that's why a lot of times the millennials do get caught up as being told we're entitled, because I will say, no, I need to honor myself during this, because I don't want to get stressed out. I don't want to all of a sudden have adrenal fatigue. I don't want to be running to pharmaceuticals. I'd rather take 20 minutes to myself than to sit there and feel the pressure to respond to somebody right away because they're the elder and they need this. And it's like, just give me a second to breathe and process. And that's why I say, fall in love with the process. Love yourself. Like, that's the best advice I could give anybody from a true standpoint. No vanity, like the most humble way of loving yourself. Like looking in the mirror and being like, I'm worth it. Like I am worth it. And if this is what makes me entitled, I don't know. I don't want to get sick. Like I don't.
No, but what do you want? You said what you don't want, but what do you want?
Happiness, love, fulfillment, creating a life that you don't feel like you have to escape from. That means falling in love with the process that you have to go through in order to get there. It's buckling your seatbelt and knowing, okay, it's not going to be the easiest, but guess what? Those down days are going to be so worth it because you're on a path of something you love, and not allowing other people to tell you what it is that you love.
Yes.
Take the time to figure out. Like it's as simple as making a French press in the morning, giving yourself 20
Everybody
minutes.
has their vision of what their French press is. We
Exactly.
all have our rituals, our routines. And hey, listen, there's a lot of 50, 60, 70-year-olds, even 80-year-olds that are still lost because they still wanted to please others. And in pleasing others, they forgot to please themselves, or they forgot who they were or who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that can affect any generation, not just the millennial generation. The things that you're saying, make so much sense. They really do make sense. But then there's that borderline of being egocentric. How do we know we are truly taking time to process, or we're just taking time for ourselves because we think we're better than the time? You know, it's like, okay, let me have a little meltdown. It's not about that. And I'm hearing you say that it's not about that for you. And I'm wondering, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, what do you think? What do you think? Send me some love, and send some love to Jillian as well. And we're going to continue our conversation with this beautiful young lady, Jillian Sommerfeld, when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Join us on Facebook Live at Lillian's Radio Show. We'll be right here waiting for you.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
I love this. So how many of you feel like the redheaded stepchild, or you just don't belong in your family? But I think possibly it is that we do belong in our family. And we were sent here to learn certain lessons along the way. What do you think about that, Jillian?
100%. I mean, I am a carbon copy of my mother and a carbon copy of my father. I am a hybrid of that. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And it makes certain situations make you very strong. And that is, I think, why I have the wisdom that I have, that I, not to be like, oh, I'm so wise, but in a sense, I understand life because my parents did not shelter me from situations, and they did nurture in a sense, but also allowed me to go out and learn and do the things that I needed to do in order to get to this space. And that I feel forever grateful for, because they also are humans too. I remember the day
doing the best they can,
exactly,
what they were given too.
Exactly. And everybody's given their stuff, and it's about how do you handle it, and how do you, and children, we become symptoms of those situations. Anybody does. So, humans in general, you become symptoms of a root cause. That's health.
Yeah, I do want to talk about health. I do want to talk about the health approach you're doing. But I want to spend some time with Tracy. I'm just so glad, Victoria, that you're joining us, and thank you so much for sharing. And, it's really interesting. We think that we're isolated, that we're the only ones that are going through this. But the more we talk about it, the more we realize, wait a minute, maybe it's normal to not be like the family. Maybe it's okay. And say, okay, well, I'm not going to dismiss it or ignore it or become or succumb to the demands of, and I'm not saying that my family demands that I be like them, but it's a lot easier if we go through with the crowd, right? And so, Tracy is a different one in the family. Victoria is a different one in her family. And so we're feeling this way too. Oh, we're about to get muted. Yeah.
Count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show /classroom, heard worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. And, the goal of the show is to learn together. That's the basic goal, to be curious instead of critical. And what I'm hearing Jillian say, our teacher today is Jillian Sommerfeld. And for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about Jillian, you can go to lovebodyfeedsoul.com and learn her process as well, that has brought her the awareness that she has. And so that's what we talk about on our show. It's, some people think it's all about counting calories or nutrition or anything like that, but it's a spirit, mind, body approach. And so there's a lot of shows out there that are all about food, other shows out there that are about money or sports or politics. Well, you're not going to get sports or politics here, but you get a lot of everything else. And hopefully by understanding that we are not different, that we are all the same, but we experience things in a different way. But isn't it beautiful how we can come together on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show /classroom and feel included? Hopefully you will feel included. And it's the people who don't want to be, and that this makes no sense to them. Like, I'm sure people think I'm a millennial, huh? Maybe not. I'm too old to be a millennial. But the thing is that if we could all come together with love and curiosity instead of criticism, wouldn't this life be a different place? Allow people to be without an imposition, without feeling like we have to change them and beat them into being quote unquote normal. So I want to encourage you to go and continue this conversation. If you're watching today and you haven't done so, please become a subscriber at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is where we take 100% responsibility for our life. And responsibility, just like millennials, I think have a bum rap, because responsibility that I'm talking about is if we create everything in life, we can uncreate it. We are co-creators. And so with that in mind, this is a blessing. And so there are techniques, the 4 questions of taking responsibility and ownership of our life. There's so many different ways that we can learn these new truths that I'm learning about on the show, and that you are growing my journey with me. While you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, I ask that you like and follow me at Lillian's Radio Show on Facebook. Click on the YouTube channel, subscribe there, and let's, Instagram, of course, I have Instagram too, Lillian McDermott. You can go to that one. And there's also Twitter. There's so many different things. But while you are at whenyouneedafriend.com, which you can listen to all the shows, there's a book, a free book that I gave away. It's my ebook. It's the 90-day challenge to self-love ebook. And I want to encourage you, when you subscribe, to do it. Fall in love with yourself, just like Jillian fell in love with herself at the young age of 26. And let me tell you, we may think we love ourselves, but listen to the conversations in your head, maybe not so. So it's the things that we think we know that aren't so. And just try to be curious. And while you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, please check out my sponsors, like my sponsors, my wonderful sponsors, like Keep Me Safe Organics. We talk about organics and making a difference in our skin, and Liberty Health Share. We have First Alternative Care. We have the McDermott Holistic Healing Foundation and the pharmacy. So there's so many different ways that we can even save money on the website. And if you don't like that, there's always podcasts. I'm all over the place on podcasts. So if you haven't heard of me yet, I'm glad that you heard about me today. So today, we're also hearing from Jillian Sommerfeld, and you can find her at lovebodyfeedsoul.com. We're talking about the millennial generation. And yes, I think that there are some incredible millennials, incredible. But Jillian, do you ever find millennials that think that they should get a paycheck without working? Maybe the parents support them, and maybe maybe not in your circle.
I believe that there's a reason for that. I believe that there's a different type of definition of what work is now. I believe that it all depends on the intention of why you're doing the things that you do. There's also the mindset of just what exactly it is, what your intention is for why you're doing it. So since millennials are kind of doing something outside of what the conventional way of life has always been, because we're hoping to create a system or something different outside of what might have been the normal 9 to 5, there's that misunderstanding of being like, okay.
Wait a second. Jillian, I don't mean to interrupt, but why do millennials feel that they're recreating something? Are they making something that's already there different?
Yeah, I think it's because just at least of who I surround myself with.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like mostly creators. So like what I was saying before, it's people that have identified issues like the environment and health and eating habits, and they've even relationships, like they've identified certain issues that have taken place within the baby boomers, and they're trying to cultivate different ways of thinking, and in their mindset is creating businesses around it. That's why there's so many different startups and so many different companies that are popping up all over the place that have to do with intentional work and purpose and why, and health coaches and business coaches.
But that's something that's been around for a long time. So here's so I'm just being curious here, because when I think of connectivity, that is something I grew up with.
Yes.
I grew up talking to people, looking them in the eyes. You know, my parents took us to every party they ever went to. So my siblings and I, we would all hang out together. Maybe we fought when we were home, but when we were out in a party, we were like inseparable. We were a tribe. And so what I'm trying to say is many millennials are growing up, you know, looking at their phones and not having that connectivity. Do you feel that those things that they're trying to fix have been brought there because of all the technology?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the cycle of it. So now that and we're feeling it, like we're feeling it firsthand.
And you want to go back to our original. We want to make that connection. There's a lot of millennials that don't know how to look at people in the eye, how to have a conversation, because like you said at the beginning of the show, and I'm saying that that's true for 60-year-olds and 50-year-olds. I'm not just saying this for millennials, and I hope that it doesn't come across as judgmental. I'm just saying that every generation goes through that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and for at least who the group and the community that I hang out with, it's like we identify it and we are feeling it, and we're feeling it in our relationships. But I'm also 30. So there's a range between like the younger millennials, and then there's, I believe I'm in like the older range of the millennials where I actually had VHS, like the, you know, like it wasn't, yes, like it was like VHS. I was also, my parents took me to parties all the time with them. There wasn't this like disconnect where the phone became the babysitter like that. Right. Yeah. So now there's the phone's the babysitter. There's not so much of this energetic, like it's energies and connectivity that people are missing. And it's, yeah. So at least for the innovators and the creators that I surround myself with, we're identifying these issues and we want to try and make a difference within it.
Very good. Very good. And I think it's beautiful. I am curious. I want to understand what is broken. And I think what's broken is the fact that we rely so much on technology. That our friendships that we used to have in high school and college and joining clubs and going out dancing, what have been replaced with, you know, gaming and playing with people all over the world, and not necessarily living a life in the now where we are today. I don't know if does that make sense?
100%. I talk about this on the reg. It's living in reality. That's the whole thing. It's like we're all living in our phones, but as human beings, we grow and evolve based off of human connection. That's how we evolve. That's how we learn. It's reading people's energies. And I'm extremely emotional, and I'm very proud of that because I'm a creative. My main passion is dancing. I love transforming my emotions. I do everything on a natural level, and I'm okay with those meltdowns, and I'm okay with those sad moments, and I'm okay with extremely happy moments. I'm all right with all of that. And what I'm starting to realize is people don't even know how to, they don't even know how to process an emotion because it's not through a phone. Like, it's like they can't even, they can't even like grasp the touch or a feeling or even the authenticity and sincerity of saying something that isn't spell checked, you know, or we make mistakes. We're humans. That's life.
It must be difficult. It must be difficult to live in a world where there's so much attention on you before you can handle the attention. I'm not saying you. I mean any child that is growing up in this generation. And we're going to continue our conversation with Jillian Sommerfeld. And join us at Facebook Live. We'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is great, Jillian. This is great.
Thank you.
This is really good.
Good. I want to, hold on.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
So Ibrahim, I know he listens from Jordan, and he says, thanks for this amazing topic. And Jordan, I want to know, do the people from outside of the United States, because we have listeners from all over the world, people from out in the United States, do you feel this pressure? Do you have a lot? Have you monitored this connection to technology with your children so that they can have, connectivity? And Jillian, was that the main thing, that you felt isolated because you're expected to have all this connectivity through technology?
I mean, it's new. So you start feeling that. If you're aware and in tuned with your body, and you're kind of like, there's a process you go through when you start eating clean food. You become a lot more sensitive to certain things, and your body starts reacting to things differently that you weren't necessarily aware of. And there was a sense of isolation when you sit there, and even when you're going out to restaurants and you want to have conversations and people are just sitting on their phones or more concerned about Instagramming their food, and it takes out the intention of human bodies. Like it takes out the intention of having an amazing conversation with somebody and connecting with them over the food that you're eating. Because ultimately that's love. And that's like when you're sitting in front of somebody and you're connecting with a friend, that's love. It's like, I always say this to people. I'll look at them and I'll be like, if I wanted to know the weather, I'd go outside. It's like, I want to know you. I want to know who you are. And don't get me wrong, social media is great if you utilize it properly and you have balance within it. But what I'm starting to identify is that people are losing sight of the beauty that is around us, which in return causes you to lose sight of yourself, because the life around you is what shows you what your life is. Like, that's your world. Your world is not in your phone. It's an extension of you now it is. But what is that extension? What is that extension?
Well, I think this is wonderful, and I love this conversation. I want to now go into solution mode.
Yes.
What are some of the things that we can all do, not just a millennial, because the stuff that you're talking about, here we go. The stuff that you're talking about is important for all of us. And we're about to get muted. So this is our last segment. It's time to dance. Hey, the 10th message will get a free radiation-free air tube. So send me some messages if you want one. Here you go.
When you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom, where we find our commonality. This is where we find commonality. It's really easy to shame and give people names. But the reality is it doesn't do us any good. Finding out what we have in common And so that's what this segment is going to be all about, is finding out solutions. How do we create win-win without feeling like we're creators, like the sharks and the jets, I'm so glad that the sharks and the jets.
Yes.
West Side Story.
Yes.
Just in case you think
Maria.
Okay. Okay. So those are the things. How do we find commonality? And so what are some of the tips that you can give us all so that at any age we can feel that connectivity and shed that entitlement?
Acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put so much weight on change. It's like, don't put weight on us to have to be something that we don't necessarily agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Give us room to speak. Majority of the millennials that I have met, I mean, it's my generation. We're all doing really amazing things if we're just given the mindset outside of just the money aspect of it. It's like, not everything does revolve around money. And I think that we are definitely seeing the toll that greed has on the world. And we just see things from a more, I think we are emotional. I think we are sensitive, but it shouldn't be looked upon as being a negative to be those things. Those are actually really beautiful things, because we're not machines, we're humans, and everyone's just doing the best they can. And it's beautiful to be a creator. It's even beautiful to be a baby boomer. It's beautiful, whatever it is. You need these people. All of us, we're humans. We need this different way of living in order to make the world be what it is. So in my eyes, I think acceptance is the best way to create balance. Yeah. Acceptance, understanding, education, leading with proper intent, being open to understanding that everybody does have a story and everybody does have a why, and it doesn't make you a weak human being. It actually makes you beautiful, and it's okay not to be okay. I think that millennials are more open to that because we see the mental illness, mental illness is huge now. Yeah. Everybody I know has anxiety, depression, AD. Everyone has a diagnosis. And it's like, well, why can't we just be who we are? Like, in a non-hippie way. It's like, just accept your, like, just exactly. Well, no, I know it, but people use it as such a term. Yeah, they use it as such a term. It's like, like, oh, these hippies. And it's like, no, we're just people, and we're just trying to do the best we can in the world, because it is hard. It is difficult, especially, and if we could all work together, then what's the, what's the issue?
But those are messages, Jillian, that we should adopt across the board, not just towards millennials, across the board. We need to figure out win-win. If I win, you win. What a great world this is. But you said something that I want to highlight, and it always, because of my 90-day challenge to self-love ebook. What I learned when I started that book, the ebook, is that the start of depression and anxiety is lack of connection with self. And so when we have that lack of connection to self, we try to figure it out outside of ourself. And it just gets worse. And that's what I love DHA Lab. I mean, do you still work with DHA Lab, or do you?
Yeah, okay. It's my family.
Yeah.
I love them. Anyone that is promoting an amazing message, I will show light to them all day anywhere I am. Like, even here in California, like right now I'm at a body worker studio that I'm working with, and he is an amazing healer. Mm-hmm. He heals people through his hands. That is the most, everybody has these gifts to give. And if they, like with my family's lab, like they are doing amazing things for nutrient therapy. They're doing cutting edge things that are, in my eyes, I'm honored in the fact that that's my cousin, and that's, the cryptopyrrole testing, Menza Medical.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a cognitive health study that is one of the top studies in I believe it's the world. Don't quote me on it, but
we're going to say it.
I believe, yeah. I mean, and that's huge because of, not to say people don't quote unquote need pharmaceuticals. I don't want to sit here and say anything that's going to make people get upset. But at the same time, there's so much more that you can do nutritional wise, lifestyle wise,
Yes.
that really raises your frequency, that really puts you on a different wavelength of thinking, and like doing body work. But there's so many things, and it doesn't make you entitled. It doesn't make you, it makes you actually being preventative in your care. It's living a happy, healthy life, which I think everybody deserves.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
So your nutrition journey, because I'm sure that, many of I would say the next generation from mine, I don't know if everybody's no, not everybody's a millennial after me, but what I'm saying is that many of them grew up with that disposable, Happy Meal, let's go fast foods. And we've done so many shows that prove time and time again that food is medicine, but not the kind of food that is processed. And that's the weapon of that mass destruction. So it could be a tool to heal every cell of your body, or it could be a weapon of mass destruction. And so with that in mind, let's talk about the nutrition that, maybe when you first started, I don't know if I picked this up or if you said it, that when you were younger, you didn't appreciate everything you had, but it was right in front of you, everything. Make that road. So would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah. I mean, I got distracted, and just like many, which I don't fault this, I come from a divorced family, no matter which way you look at divorce, there is a level of chaos that comes along with it outside of the conventional way of living. But at the same time, what is the conventional way of living? Do you know what I mean? The divorce rate is the highest it's ever been. That's just the way it is. So that was my life. And because I came from two separate worlds, I got to experience a lot of different worlds. One of them I didn't experience so much as the other until I was older. And now that I was able to, it's like I was able to do a fusion of it, where I was like, wait a second, I love wellness. I also love dance. I like doing business, but I like doing a new way of business. I like doing intentional business. I was able to actually form my being based off of my world and my life, which I had to heal first in order to appreciate the gifts that were given to me. And that's like for anyone, any millennial, any baby boomer, anyone, whatever the label is, whatever it is, as a human, just pay attention to your life around you, because you do have all of the tools that can make you feel fulfilled. And it's okay sometimes to have emotions, and it's okay to not make necessarily the best choices in your life, because those things form you into who you are. Like that, those things make your soul. Like that's what makes your soul. That's what creates your purpose. That's what gives you your oomph, it's like, but we get caught up in judgment. I know, at least in society, for me to come out and say like, oh, anxiety's fine, or oh, there were so many times that I got crucified for it, like being like,
ahead of your time.
You don't know. And I'm sitting there being like, no, I think suicide is awful. I don't think anybody should ever feel that they need to do that. But, because those are controversial topics, it's disruptive media in a sense, but at the same time,
it's a distraction. It's a distraction to the root cause.
Yes.
It's like I get caught doing something, and instead of saying I'm sorry, I'm going to create drama and pass out or do whatever it is. So blame something else instead of taking ownership for our life at any age. I am 100% there with you, sister. And it doesn't matter how we get there, but even with evolution, just when you think that you're evolved, think again. And we're going to continue off the air. And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you. Thank you so much, Jill.
Thank you.
And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide when you need a friend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
Yay!
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Okay, we got a little bit, I don't know if you noticed, but I've got some earrings and some bling bling on. I'm going to an event today, so we only have a little bit of time. And do you guys have any questions for Jillian that we can address while we're off the air? And I want to remind you, be the 10th message that I get today from Smart and Safe. We'll get a air tube, and I use this. I've been using it for a while now, and I am so excited. We're going to do some more shows on electromagnetic frequencies, and to get started on this, they sent me so many. I am so excited. I've got pads for people that are pregnant for cover their bellies. I've got Bluetooths, and I've got radiation boards to keep our laptops from causing damage to our body. And, you know, this is the thing, Jillian. There's so many things that we don't know are causing us harm, but we grow up in it. We grow up in it. We grow up in toxic waste. We don't realize that the waste is toxic.
Yeah, that's it. But you have a choice. You have a choice to kind of make the change in your life of how you want to live your life. And if you are, you know, subjected with that toxicity, there are ways that you can get out of it. And it's paying attention to who you are inside and then creating that life for yourself.
Yes.
Doing the best you can.
Yes, absolutely. But you know what? Even now at 30, because I remember when I was 30 thinking I was so evolved. And I knew things, but I didn't know the root cause of what made me angry, what made me sad. I did not know the root cause. And, you know, we just make it up as we go along. But sometimes we find people along the way that can guide us to that next level. And, you know, instead of following along, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can make the wheel better. We've seen how the wheel has gotten better, and we can do that. And I mean, have you, when you woke up at 26, and I keep using that expression, but when you woke up, were there guides, leaders, people that made a difference in your life that said, you know what, this is all perfect. You are on a journey. This is great.
It wasn't positive. It was more so the negativity that showed me the positive. That's what it was. I didn't really have somebody sitting there telling me which way to go. And I think that's why I was so vocal with it through Instagram, was because I was kind of being that person for myself, because I had to ultimately cope with whatever it was that I was going through for whatever reason, you know, and I did it alone, you know. It was like I had some guidance from my dad, some guidance from my mom, but ultimately it was something that I needed to figure out for myself. And I've always been that way too, where anyone can tell me what to do and I'll do the complete opposite.
Really?
And that's kind of just been my thing. I'll sit there and I'll do like what I feel. Like if somebody's like, oh, you should paint that wall pink, I'd sit there and I'd be like, well, why? Like, what if I want that wall to be orange? You know, like I'd take the time to actually.
But would you have considered pink?
No.
Would you wouldn't have even
I
considered
don't think
it?
so.
Okay. You see?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wonder when you reach your 50s, you'll consider it, because
I know.
Because we have our way of thinking.
Exactly.
And we think that just because we think it, it's true. And just because we feel it, it's real. And so sometimes we just get to sit in the other person's shoes or walk in the other person's shoes, which is something that I learned as a young lady that I needed to feel. And as an empath, we feel what other people feel. We
Yep.
just didn't know. I just didn't know how to process their feelings within me. And
100%.
and that is something that I think that we are losing perspective too, because we are one. And what happens to you happens to me, and we have forgotten that. And there's another thing I wanted to, I want to clarify. I want to clarify. And I ask these questions to understand, not to be critical, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are watching as well, you said that the role of money is not important to a millennial.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you pay for essential needs? How do you pay for life? How do you pay for those if it's not important? And I know that money should not be, the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money. Money is not the evil one. It's the love, the greed that we have for it.
Mm-hmm.
But where does money play in a millennial's life if it's not important?
You make your purpose and what you're trying to cultivate for yourself
Mm-hmm.
the main force of creating that cash flow. So if so it's like, it's not the main lead. Like, it's sitting there being like, I want to make $100,000. I will do anything to make that $100,000. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it looks like. That's what I'm going to do, because that's what I need to live this lifestyle, to show people that this is what I need.
Okay.
Instead, it's sitting there and being like, okay, well, actually what I need is, I enjoy being a dancer. I enjoy going out and doing music videos or being a choreographer, and whatever amount of money that comes my way, or whatever amount of money that I choose that is given to me, that is the life that reflects the life
that you earn. That you earn.
Exactly.
That you earn, not given to you, because
Exactly.
you need to earn. Okay.
Exactly.
So with that, you earn the life of a dancer. You earn the life of all the different creative things that you're doing, which I think is wonderful. But do you live within your means? You see, the thing is, the entitlement comes in when a person is not making enough money, but they want to drive a BMW.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you deal with that? How do you suggest people deal with that? You want to be free to explore, but they still want a certain lifestyle. And that's not just millennial. There's a lot of people like that.
But isn't that their prerogative?
Sure, but how
you know what I'm saying?
It is, but who pays for the BMW?
They have to. What do you
What
mean?
if they don't have the money, but they don't have the money, but they want to drive a BMW?
Then they have to work to get the money to drive the BMW. That's what is it like, because some millennials will sit there and expect that? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's why entitlement is the game. That's why the entitlement, like many of the millennials don't even know how to write. They haven't written a check. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to, they don't know how to balance their finances. Many of them don't know how to do that. And I'm not saying that all. I'm not saying that that's just millennials. There's a lot of grown-up people that don't even know how to balance their finances. So that is not owned on the millennials only. But if money is not, do you work backwards? Like, if you have a goal, do you look at the goal and go, that doesn't make a lot of money, so maybe I can create something where I can still have this goal and make more money?
Yeah, of course, you figure it out.
Okay.
That's like, I mean, at least for me, figure it out. Like, my financials are in no means being like, I'm sitting here, I have all the answers and I have it all together. I'm still learning 100%. Like, I am definitely, in the sense, if I wanted to look at myself as being a victim of the millennial nation or whatever it is, I mean, I'm still figuring out my my finances, we can't even buy homes now. Like that's like the way the economy is, it just is what it is. And I think that we're a symptom of that. And I think that we do the best we can given the circumstances. And yeah, some of us have that mindset of like, I want to be driving this type of car, I want to be doing that, but that's also putting the ego first in my mind. It's like,
sure,
you should feel confident enough in yourself to know, like, I don't even drive a car. Like that's like I don't even have a car.
That's great. That's great. You live within your means.
Yes.
So
I Uber everywhere.
I believe that whatever life you choose, no matter what the title is, and let's not even say millennial, because I don't even want to go there. Regardless of your age, living within your means is crucial.
Oh yeah.
And that way, anybody can choose whatever they want to choose. That's my perspective.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to be a singer, a dancer, a creator, like you're saying, if they, whatever money they get, whether they live with one person or they live with 10 people, split the pie up. A house is a house, and it's just what my concern is, that many people, not just millennials, have become very comfortable with the government helping them out. And that's concerning to me.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I definitely have an opinion on that also.
Okay. Well, I think this should be continued.
I agree. I mean, working makes you, like, I love what I do every single day. And I learn the lessons about like living outside of your means. I mean, I was living in Venice, California, and it's one of the most expensive places. But at the same time, it also opened up my life, my career. You know what I mean? So it's like I took that risk to live outside of my means. So now I went.
Smart.
Yeah. So like I was like, no, I'm doing this. I'm challenging myself because I need to understand my worth. And I sat there and I worked the hardest I've ever worked in my life.
Awesome.
I've never endured that much stress, like, ever. And thank God for my healthy choices. That's why I'm saying you fall in love with the process. You fall in love with the journey, because there were moments where I was manic. And if I didn't understand the health and wellness tools, I would have lost my mind. I couldn't even imagine having children and having that stress. So it showed to me something in my life that I needed to know. And I was able to then get into a place where the rent is lower. I'm able to actually start building. Yes. I opened up the doors to like all these different opportunities with these amazing, like, holistic workers that I get to be around every single day. And now I feel like I could actually have stability and start growing in the way that I
think it's great. I think it's great. I think, because there are 50, 60-year-olds still relying on their parents' money. And I see it day in and day out as a life coach, as a certified life coach. One of the things is I find out, so they're doing what they love, but can they afford it?
Yeah.
Can they afford that?
Yeah.
And so, it's like, okay, do what you love, but get another job.
Yep. And it's figuring that out, and it's figuring out that balance. Like right now I'm sitting here and I love what I'm doing and I'm getting all these opportunities, but trust me, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I could do some, like, sometimes I'll go and watch my friend's kid just to get the energy of a child around me, and they'll pay me. Yeah. And it's like, it's dropping, and they'll pay me, and it's dropping the ego. It's being okay with just it's like, who cares? Like, who cares? I'll probably be 40 still doing that. I'll be enjoy your life, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process.
Okay.
And it's okay.
I think it's wonderful. And for those of you who are watching and still watching, I want to encourage you to share this video. Let people know that, we're all one. Let's drop the titles. Honestly, this wasn't about being a millennial. This is about finding your truth. And it's about owning it. Mm-hmm. Spirit, mind, and body, and financially. And so if you are wanting to create anything in your life and you're living within your means and you're not expecting anyone to pay for your dreams, then I think that is absolutely Wonderful. Jillian, thank you so much for being on the show today. And I'm looking forward to learning more about your journey as it reveals. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
I am
much.
going to say goodbye to all of you on Facebook. Thank you so much for all the comments and love that we received today. And we'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lillian, for having me. I really appreciate it. The
I love it.
conversation was amazing, and
Love
you
it.
are amazing. So thank you for holding space. And us millennials will get it.
I love it. I love it. Okay. It's just stopping the recording now. And for those of you on YouTube, just know we do our show on Facebook Live. Go to Lillian's radio show, and maybe you can be a part of our show as well. And we'll see you too.